Came out of my room wearing the scarf the other day, and my mom immediately started singing the chorus to that Snoopy versus the Red Baron song. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 or more. There are a whole bunch of silent Jane Eyres that I have to skip because they're either not in existence anymore or they're just completely unavailable. There's like a couple from 1910, from 1914, 1915, 1918, 1923, 27, there's a whole bunch. And besides a few pictures that make them seem rather intriguing, they are in absentia. So, the first one that I can watch is the 1934 one. I don't know if this was a low-budget movie or it got damaged or what, but it is in sore need of some remastering. I would call this Jane Eyre Light, or Jane Eyre Abridged and Unfaithful. It's good for people who want a rapid-fire succession of events from the main part of the book, and they don't really need to know too much about the beginning or the ending, or they don't care about specific details, or they don't really care about having an accurate representation of the main characters. Or if you're a person who isn't very critical of movies at all, like my mom, this movie will not really be too bad for you. For a 62-minute runtime, it does cram a lot of stuff in, but it doesn't really give you much time to breathe in between the events. As Jane Eyre should, it starts with Orphan Jane's miserable existence at Gateshead.
Hello! Leave me alone! Baby cat, baby cat, they have thunder light.
What did she say? This John Reed really is a jerk, and he talks funny.
What do you mean by taking my book after I told you not to?
I didn't take it. I was just reading it.
Jane talks kind of funny too.
And you'll do as we say.
As satisfying as I find Jane's retaliation against John to be, there's just something I don't like about her, and that's not right. She comes across as bratty and a little dim.
Yes, I am with it. I have no gratitude. I hate it here. I want to go to the orphanage. Now, go away. Go away. Get out. Goodbye.
10 years later at Lowood, she gets fired by Mr. Brocklehurst, and this is how she handles it.
I'll get out. Gladly. I've had enough of your charity. I've scrubbed and stitched and slaved for everything I ever got from you. I wish I could take every one of these poor starved orphans away from you. You cruel, stingy child beater. And something be done about the way they're treated.
Get out! Get out!
You ought to be tarred and feathered, you ugly old crocodile.
Well, there's something that Bronte didn't write.
I finally found courage to tell him what I thought. I called him an ugly old crocodile. Brocklehurst. He dismissed me. Just think. I'm leaving this place at last. I'm going to miss you. But what are you going to do? Don't worry, dear. With the small inheritance my uncle left me, I shall manage until I find something.
I don't think Jane Eyre would be proud that she said that. I don't think that Jane Eyre would be excited that she's being fired without any references and being thrown out into the world where she has no home to go to. Wait a minute, what did she say?
With the small inheritance my uncle left me, I shall manage until I find something.
Her uncle's inheritance? What? Now? Speeding right along.
What do you mean by frightening my horse?
Your horse frightened me.
My ankle. Thank you. May I ask where you're going?
Thornfield Hall.
Indeed. And what are you going to do there?
It's any of your business. I'm the new governess.
Sorry. That's quite a bit different. Why does she have a dress this nice? They managed to make this meeting even more awkward than it is in the book.
Good evening. I'm Edward Rochester.
And I make miraculous recoveries from sprained ankles.
Good evening, sir.
Will you pour the tea?
Certainly. I must apologize for my rudeness this afternoon. I didn't know
don't
that...
apologize. I was the one who was rude.
What?
How many-
Who are you?
2.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the emasculation of Edward Fairfax Rochester. What is this? Insta-love?
Your tea, sir.
Thank you.
I don't know what happened. I would have thought that Colin Clive was a really good person to play this. He was well cast, considering his previous work in Frankenstein and The Bride of Frankenstein and Mad Love.
It's moving. It's alive. It's moving. It's alive. Oh, it's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. Oh, in the name of God. Now I know what it feels like to be God.
He's good at playing tormented, kind of crazy characters with kind of a judgment problem, and yet also a romantic side. It seems kind of self-evident that he would be a good person to play Rochester. I really think it's the script. It just didn't give him much to work with, or maybe he just couldn't do it. I don't know what happened. I was very disappointed.
It's overwhelmed after the orphanage.
Oh, you must forget about the orphanage. Thornfield's your home from now on.
And sip the tea in unison. Remember in that first conversation in the book when he says, "Do you play?" and she says, "A little," and he says, "All young ladies say a little, well, let's hear it." And she goes over and plays like 3 measures of a song. He's like, "That's enough! I don't want to hear any more. You definitely just play a little. Ugh, come back." Well, that doesn't happen here. In this one, she plays and she sings. There's nothing wrong with the song, it's just... she shouldn't be singing! Oh, well, the reason why she sings in this one is because Virginia Bruce, in addition to her acting career, was also well known to the public at that time as one of Ziegfeld's Follies. So we just needed to completely change this whole aspect of the interview. At least they knew better than to cut out Bertha. Really, this movie should be called The Misadventures of Adele, because the number of times that she gets stuck in something, or falls down, or does something precocious is just astonishing. Now here's a little gem of a scene where Adele runs away from her lessons and climbs up a tree, and then Jane has to climb up after her, and they're both stuck, and Rochester comes and rescues them.
Street climbing, part of the botany lesson?
Uncle Edward, help! My foot's caught.
Her foot's caught.
Her foot's caught. So I gathered.
Now this is a little more like it. These are lines that I think Rochester would actually say. Too bad that the editing and the timing are just a little bit off.
And now, you little monkey.
I should mention that in this version, Rochester is very nice to Adele, and there's no question that she might be his love child
That's right.
or anything like that. She is most definitely his niece.
And where would you like this baggage delivered, Miss Eyre?
The schoolroom, please. She must be punished.
Can't I be punished tomorrow when Uncle Edward's gone to London?
No. Quite right.
And later on the Jane Eyre comedy show,
Something. Do something.
Are you all right, darling? Poor dear.
You made short work of my porcelain, Miss Eyre.
Well, I couldn't let the child suffocate to save your precious porcelain. And I don't see anything to laugh at.
oh, Jane. It's not the first time we've seen that either. I don't even get it. What cause does she have to be so angry at Rochester?
So that's the new governess. Impertinent and, pretty.
Therefore miscast.
Very intelligent.
Aha.
Jane Eyre would not be dancing at a ball.
You haven't a very good opinion of me.
Oh, but I have.
Then why did you wear your schoolroom clothes? Why didn't you dress up?
Why didn't you dress up? You're making me look bad. I'm being embarrassed in front of all my friends.
Because I didn't intend to appear as anything but what I am. The governess.
You're a funny little thing, aren't you? very charming.
What is up with this? It's just... ugh. The fire in his bedroom happens, but it's kind of late and kind of calm and sedate. Just look at the way he reacts to everything. She put out the fire really fast, and it's all just very underwhelming. Rochester gets relationship advice from Adele.
I think Miss Eyre would make a lovely aunt.
Really? But I don't think she'd have us.
Perhaps she would. Why don't you ask her?
You ought to have been asleep an hour ago.
He drives Jane to distraction until he proposes, and then the crazy wife shows up, and Jane leaves, and the crazy wife burns the house down. You know. St. John Rivers and company are really chopped down in this one. I think he's in it for about 30 seconds. Jane's planning to go to India. He asks her to marry him, and she says, "Do I have to?" And he says, "Yeah, you pretty much have to." And she's like, "I'll think about it." And she's planning to, and then Sam Poole, who is Grace Poole's husband, shows up and tells her that Thornfield burned down. And she says, "Okay, well, I'm leaving now."
Very kind of you to have called, Miss Eyre. Do you have some tea? Have you been well? I hope you're well situated.
I've come back here to be with you, Edward.
Pity me.
No, I don't.
Yes, pity, pity.
I think Clive does a good job in the ending scene.
It is true, I tell you. We don't belong to each other. We never did. You went out of my life once. Please go now.
Is there anything wrong, sir?
Mrs. Fairfax,
Yes, Mr. Ross.
has she gone?
No, I haven't gone. And I'm not going.
Really? This movie is not that bad. It's okay. It certainly does not warrant the 4.6 user rating that I saw on IMDb. Let's reserve that for movies that are really bad. The acting wasn't terrible here. It mostly followed the plot. It just... well, for Jane Eyre fans, it doesn't really deliver a whole lot. You know what, though? It was entertaining. We laughed a lot. It wasn't supposed to be a comedy, but we laughed a lot. It's not terrible, but it's not great. It's Jane Eyre, but it's not Jane Eyre. You know? Moving on.